So here we are, it's the last day of Exploring Monastic Life 2018, I think, right? Not tomorrow, today. This is it. Okay, just checking. So maybe you came thinking you need to make some big decision before you leave. You don't. Be really clear that you don't. But still, everybody here came to explore something. Some of you are already ordained, and some clearly you are on the way. But all of us are really still questioning, how do I want to spend my life? And so there's a lot of time to think about that. There's no pressure. And also over the years, Venerable Children has given us some very clear guidelines about how to make decisions. So I thought that might be useful information to share with people today. I mean, this program is not a one-time thing necessarily. I think we have someone here who has the record for attending 7 times before requesting ordination, 8. Yeah, 7 or 8 times before requesting ordination. You can come back again and again and again and again. There's no penalty for return. I personally took quite a long time to make this decision. I would say from the time it was first articulated as a possibility to the time I requested was about 6 years. The time it took for me, I think about this, there were many external and internal conditions, mostly internal, that needed work. So it took what it took. But if this little talk can help save you some time, I would really like to, support that. Simply because what I didn't know then, didn't understand then, but what I understand clearly now is that the longer we have to be able to live in the discipline of this life, to live with the precepts, to devote our lives wholeheartedly to the Dharma, the more the Dharma can work on transforming us, transforming our minds, and the greater our capacity for creating the merit in the future to be able to continue on this path. And we only need to look at our teacher, Venerable Children, and the other senior monastics to see what 40 years or more in robes can do as opposed to like 10. We grow over time. So there's no rush, there's no hurry, it takes as long as it takes, and there's a time element there that's important. So the other thing I also want to caution you against is that I spent a lot of time on the fence. And the fence is, that's a very narrow seat. It is not very comfortable. Don't do that. If you really have your heart and mind set on your aspiration clearly, then the decision makes itself. And whether it becomes an act that you want to do for this life, or it becomes a future life, nurturing that aspiration and moving your mind and life towards practicing the Dharma fully with that aspiration in mind, it will get clear. And you can't make a mistake that way. Then you're still creating causes, whatever the ultimate outcome of that may be. But there's this thing of looking at 4 possibilities that Venerable has taught many times in different contexts, but it's really helpful. So first, there's doing something that brings happiness or benefit now. That's one choice, means one possibility. Something that brings happiness or benefit in the future. Something that brings discomfort or unhappiness now. And something that brings discomfort or unhappiness in the future. So those are 4 possibilities. And then we look at 4 possibilities of combinations. And that's where the decision making gets clear. So if there's something that brings benefit now, happiness now, and in the future, clearly, do it. And when we're talking future here, we mean future this life, yes, but we're really talking the long-term future. We're talking about future lives into infinity, forever and forever and forever future. So what the decisions we make now and every day affect us in the future. So happiness now, happiness in the future, clearly, pretty easy decision to make, no problem. If something brings unhappiness now, or a little discomfort now, but has long-term benefit, happiness in the future, what do we do? Do it, but we have to think about it. Because what are we afraid of? We're afraid of that little bit of temporary discomfort at the beginning. So we have to really think about these. What is the short-term benefit? What's the short-term discomfort? What is it really? And then what is the long-term benefit? So if there's something that brings unhappiness or discomfort now, and unhappiness and discomfort in the future, yeah, I mean, really. We're surprised sometimes, actually, if we look at what we chose, but generally, if you're thinking about it. And then something that brings, this is the one we get tricked on, something that brings happiness now, but the long-term benefit is detrimental. What will we do? Be honest, we're going to pick happiness now if we don't think about it. That's the one we really need to think about. Our short-term happiness may be right smack in front of us, but the long-term benefit, where is this going to take me? What are the seeds I'm planting now for this life and for the future? So there's no easy answer and there's no stock answer to this. Each person has to look at their own life, their own situation, and weigh what the short-term benefits are, what the long-term benefits are, what the short-term suffering is, what the long-term suffering is, what the combinations are. But on the basis of that, as we think about it over and over, we get clearer and clearer about the direction we want to spend our life. And it's not a trick question. This is really not rigged. But each person has to do the homework. And what it boils down to is everyone chooses to live your own life. Now, we have to make sure we are living our own life. This is another step in the process. We may think we are. Am I living my life for my parents? Am I living my life for my partner? Am I living my life for my children? Am I living my life for my heritage, some ancient something that's been passed down through the line of my family forever that says I'm supposed to be X, X, and X? You know, it's really a good question to ask. Who am I living my life for? When we sort that out, then we get clear that then we're living our own life. But that's not always very clear, I think. I think we discover that. And then the last thing, something that Venerable Children led us on when the first EML I did, after cooking for 2 years, I couldn't get any closer than that. But the one I actually did. At the end of that, she had us do a reflection that was very fruitful, and I've used it again since then, and I want to share it with you, where she said, first of all, just imagine that you are on your deathbed, whatever age you want to be, on your deathbed looking back at your life. And possibility one is you're looking back at your lay life. And for the sake of the exercise, everything in lay life has gone perfectly. No obstacles, no nothing. So you've gotten everything you wanted, you did everything you wanted to do, you've helped all the people you wanted to help, you've achieved everything you want. And now you're on your deathbed looking back at that life. What are the things that you rejoice in? What are the things that you regret? How does it look from that moment right before life ends? And then we go back on our deathbed, and we look at a different life. You go back to yourself as an ordained life, from whatever age you are, whatever time. Imagining, again, no obstacles, we're going to make it easy, or even with obstacles. Let's leave the obstacles in. But you've lived a life, an ordained life, the holy life, if you will, devoting your life to the Dharma full time. And at the moment of death, you're looking back. What are the things you rejoice in? What are the things you regret? Where has that life taken you? And how do you feel about that? It's a very, I find, useful exercise to look with all kinds of choices, but to really compare again and again and again, getting clear, what do I want to do with my life, this life? I'm the only one living it. And at the moment of death, believe me, I am the only one who's dying. And as the only one who's dying, how will I feel about what I've done with this, yes, putrid body, but very useful? Very useful when applied to creating merit for the future. So nurture the flame of your aspiration. Even having the aspiration is so precious. I think that's come clearer, perhaps, to everyone as we go through this program every year. That is so rare even to have it. To have the karma, to have it, says a lot about where we've come from. And to nurture that flame, think about what are the causes and conditions I need to create in order to continue to feed it. And then create those causes. Put yourself in those conditions. Let that be the guiding light. And if it takes you to ordination in this life, fantastic, we rejoice. If it takes you to ordination in the next life, fantastic, we rejoice. If it takes you to ordination in some far future life, fantastic, we rejoice. So don't be eaten up by it, but don't let that flame die. It's too precious, way too precious. And it's been a pleasure. I think I can speak for the whole community, to all our guests, and certainly for all of us together, to share this path with you, to share this time with you. It's been very precious. So keep coming back, however you come. Thanks so much.
Another thing, too, is that I got to be very clear about, thanks to Venerable Children, is that you cannot live your life for your teacher either. You know, we love them, they guide us, they take us kicking and screaming to awakening, but do not ordain for your teacher.